Hello everybody and welcome back to Minecraft Feed the Beast. In the last episode we went mining and we found a lot of resources, and by now you should have seen the speed up video of me going and doing even more mining. But after that I decided there wasn't enough and I didn't find any redstone on that trip. So I'm going to go back down here. I'm not going to actually go mining because you'll see exactly what I have done. Now, if you remember, well, speed up video, if you did watch that, episode 5.5, it's me just running around here mining everything I could see. We had a skeleton spawner over here and we bunged all our resources in here at the end. I've taken those up and put them in our chest. I'm going to keep this here in case I make some sort of mob grinder, which would be very cool. And there are a few things I need from rare mob drops that would be helpful from that. Now, in the speed up I went through here and I found what I could. A bit cold there actually. Didn't actually see that. Okay, so this cave is pretty much cleared out, so I decided to dig down here because we needed redstone to actually build any of our machines, and I found a massive ravine. Now, I've gone through here and I found a lot of stuff. There's still a lot to obtain from this ravine, and down there is another ravine that crosses through this ravine, so it's even better. Now, off camera I did a lot of mining down here which wasn't in the speed up, but trust me, I have gone and mined all of the resources myself. Haven't spawned in pickaxes or anything, still in stone tools. I did find some green sapphires. Now in Tekkit, if you've seen this, you'll probably be like, wait, no, that's an emerald sword, isn't it? Well, technically it is, but to cope with the change in 1.3 where the villagers now trade with emeralds, they've renamed the emerald from the mod this is from. I can't remember exactly what it is. So now instead of emerald, it's just green sapphire. So you've probably been reading about 4 times as I've been switching out. So yeah, they've changed it to green sapphires instead of emeralds. I was wondering what they'd do with that. But basically, there's ruby, sapphire, and emeralds, and they basically have tools that are, I believe, slightly better than iron pickaxe, well, iron tools for that matter. So, but you need iron to obtain them, so you can't kind of not use iron pickaxes at all. But as you can see, we have a lot of ores. Now, I've probably spent a good 2 hours or so mining out that ravine, just picking out certain things I want. I mean, these cyclorium things, just you get so much of them, it's insane. But you can see here, green sapphire. If you play Tekkit and you use facts, you'll probably recognise this as an emerald, but trust me, green sapphire. So, now that we have a lot of stuff, we can start making progress on our first machinery. Now, if you remember, I put a chest down here with some resources that we're going to need. Now, we're going to start off with cooked chicken. As you can see, we have a lot more chickens now. These aren't hacked, it's just me throwing eggs as soon as I see eggs on the floor, really. Just throw that there. But yeah, I've put a chest aside here with some resources we're going to need to make our first machinery. And we are going to cook up some more because we do need to. Now, let's grab some of our coal. We're going to have to smelt this down, and then we're going to have to cook it again to get refined iron. Now, while that cooks, there's something else I want to talk about. Hang on, just double check. Yeah, that'll cook a little plant. So, another thing we need before we can do anything machine-wise is we need to make some copper cables. Now, we have copper, fair enough. I haven't actually got it on my person, but here we have some rubber trees. Now, I saw these a while ago, but I haven't done anything with them purposely so you could see exactly what I do, etc. Now, what you want to do with these, you can identify what a rubber tree is because they usually point out a lot more than normal trees. As you can see, that's what a normal tree would look like, and then you'd see one with leaves pointing up the top of it. So that signifies that it is a rubber tree. Now, what's special about rubber trees is, on the side of them, they have resin on their trunk. And to obtain this, we need to make a tree tap. I'm trying to, has this actually got any resin on it? Sometimes if you're unlucky, there isn't any resin anywhere on the tree. No? No resin? Oh, that's bloody useless then. Okay. Didn't even get a sapling, did I? Stupid. So let's just try and find a spot of resin. Break these leaves, because if we find... there we go. So here is some sticky resin. Now to obtain this we need a tree tap, and I am an idiot because I didn't bring any wood. So don't even have an axe with me. I'm just gonna run to the house. So yeah, we need to make a tree tap and tap out that sticky resin, because we can cook that sticky resin to get rubber, and rubber is going to be vital to us. So to make a tree tap, simply do this with wooden planks and we get a single tree tap. Now, tree taps do have durability, it's not infinite use, but they don't have the best durability for what they do. So you might want to make a second one if you have a lot of trees with resin on them. Completely up to you though. So tap that. Server's lagging a bit, I think. Do a test. Oh. Okay. Oh, there we go. We've got some sticky resin. Sticky situation. So we've got 2 resin from that. I believe the most you can get from one thing is 3 resin. It's either 1, 2, or 3. Oh, there's some. Let's break our way down. I kind of want to get a sapling here. So we've got another 2 and we've got a sapling. There we go. Rubber tree sapling. Now, if you have a lot of trouble trying to find a rubber tree, I highly recommend looking in a swamp, because they are quite common there. And again, look out for the 3 leaves on the top, because that will help you a lot. So 7, that should do us for our first bit of sticky resin, I think. So let's just try and get a few more saplings. Come on. Can actually cut that down, because later on we can make a machine called an extractor, and we can put the wood from these trees in and we can get more rubber. So it's kind of like draining the tree entirely. So come on, saplings. Anything? Nope. Oh, these trees don't like me. They're like 1 sapling. Alright, I suppose that'll have to do. So you've also probably noticed that I've cleaned up the area a lot more. So I was on doing some off-screen stuff before that, speed mining, and over there, if you remember, we had a little farm. I've taken a lot of the stuff and replanted it over here. And you're probably wondering what this is. This is apparently corn on the cob. And to me it looks like a jelly donut or something, a donut with strawberry icing and sprinkles wrapped in leaves. Now the TL's 2.5 is a bit like bread, but easier to obtain. So I planted a variety of stuff, we can actually harvest it now. So we've got some wheat, everyone knows what wheat is hopefully. If you've played Minecraft you'll be very familiar. So let's get that out. Now here we have an interesting one, this is corn. So, oh, there we go. To plant it, to get a corn kernel, and it'll sprout up and grow corn. Now when it's too high, it'll drop you a piece of corn, which you then cook to get corn on the cob, which I was just holding. But for some reason, my texture pack seems to believe that corn is a donut. So let's just harvest all of that. So this is flax. It grows a lot of string and you get a lot more seeds. It's good in Tech-It because flax seeds and string are quite high EMC for equivalent exchange. And then we have henequen leaves, I believe that's how you say it. I'm not too sure what you do with it. I think you make like twine or something and then you turn that into string. Not the most useful thing in the world, but whatever. So let's just bung our stuff in here. And did that cook? Yes it did. So we also want to cook this iron again. We're going to need 17 iron and you need to cook it twice. Because when you cook it twice you get refined iron. And this is what we're going to need to make pretty much all of our machines. Now eggs everywhere. Come on. Egg, egg, egg. So let's quickly go and plant this out before it gets too dark. Put that right there so it's nice and accessible. And I think I'm going to make another furnace and then we're going to have a little sleep. So let's grab this. I'll make 2 more. There we go. And we can put them up here. Why not? Ceiling ovens. Ovens on your ceiling. Right. Now we have this sticky resin. So what we can do is simply bung it in a furnace or anything that cooks. Let's grab some more refined iron. And what am I doing? What was I doing? So yeah, pretty much everything. Oh, and I also, seeing as I'm playing on a server with some friends, you'll probably notice that the apiaries for the bees are gone here. Now that's because I made a trade. They had a lot of magical crystal stuff for Thorncraft, which I kind of want to focus on quite a bit, while they are very interested in doing forestry and beekeeping. So in exchange for their crystals, I let them take my apiaries and whatever bees I had. So I'll link to their channels in this video. I'm not sure when the episode, well, they record a lot and don't upload nearly as much as they should, but that's my opinion. Can we do anything yet? I believe we can. Yeah, so rubber's cooked. Now rubber is essential to making anything, so we want to do this. Now you'll probably see uninsulated copper cable. You can either make that or you can do this. Make copper cable. Now if you make the uninsulated cable, I'll just do it with this. So you can put it there, but say you wanted copper cable like this, it's not too late because you can simply do that and make one at a time. Same cost, it's just a different way of doing it. So let's just bung that in there, I guess. And that there. Now we want to grab 2 bits of redstone and let's bung that in there. So first of all, you want to make an electronic circuit. Now for that you need 1 refined iron, 2 redstone and copper cable on top and bottom, and there we go. So that is going to help us in a minute. There's another refined iron, because if we do this, we want 2 of these, and then we get 2 machine blocks. Machine blocks are what we use to make all the machines. So if I hit U, we can see macerator, which is one of them we do want. Extractor, which we'll get in the future. Oh, excuse me. There's a miner, compressor, I don't know, there's loads of stuff, loads of it. Now, but that comes in a lot later in this mod, because there's no way possible that I'm going to get through all of them in one episode, nor do I really have the resources to do so. Where are we now? So, let's make another furnace, and do we have... Yes. Now another thing you want is some tin. Tin is found underground, it's pretty low down, I'm not exactly sure on how deep it is, but yeah, there. I need to clean up my inventory, hang on. So let's bung some random stuff in here. Wheat. I've got a bit of wheat now. When we're in the mine I also found a thaumium hoe, an enchanted book, and music disc. Wait, that's a new one. I haven't actually seen that. I need to make a thingy then. I found some metal in the dungeon I was talking about, and also off screen I updated my text. Well, I didn't update my texture pack, I fixed it. So there are now a lot more textures than there were before. So you can see this tree here. It is now an updated texture. A lot of Thorncraft stuff now has textures as it didn't before, which I'm really happy about. And, well, overall it's just better. So, tin done, lovely. And we do actually need one more copper cable, because if we do that, put the tin around like this, we get an RE battery. Now this is what's used to store energy. We haven't got any energy at the moment, but we will have very soon, because if we craft another furnace, we put a machine block on the top, put an RE battery, we get a generator. Now generator is a very basic machine, I guess, that we're going to be using to get energy using coal or charcoal. Now I think we're going to start off by just putting our machines in this house here, because we haven't got our own house, so we can't really do a lot, and it just seems fitting really. So generator here. Now to power it, we can either put charcoal or coal. When we do so, it will power, and this is energy. Now if we put a battery up here, it could take up all the energy, or if we put it here, it will unload all the energy or whatever. But we'll get into that stuff later, because we don't need to transfer any energy to anything at the moment. Now, another thing, so we have our electronic circuit machine block. We need 3 pieces of flint. Do I have flint? Ah, I have 1 piece of flint. Okay. I'm going to make a quick cut here. I'm going to keep breaking this over and over until I get some flint to work with. So, BRB. Okay, we're back. That didn't take very long at all, surprisingly. So we've got 3 flint now. Did I actually... just pile of gravel back there. Throw some more stuff in. Eggs. So many eggs. And while we're waiting, I'll just bung some corn in. So you see it goes in, and it'll come out a donut like product. So yeah, now just need a bit of cobble, I believe. Now if we do this arrangement of items, as we saw earlier, we get a macerator. Now this is vital for you to maximize your profits in terms of grinding up ores and stuff. So now that we have this, you can take, say, a stack of iron, and what the macerator does, normally when you smelt an ore, you turn 1 piece of ore into 1 bar of metal of any sort. So if I put a bit of iron in the furnace, it'll become an iron bar. But if I put it in the macerator, it would grind it up, and you'll see what we get in a minute. Now, speaking of talking about power and things, we've given the generator power, and because it's next to the macerator can gain power from it. Now, if you don't put it right next to each other, you can get some copper cable. Unfortunately, I don't have any more rubber, but if you insulate some copper cable, you can link it up and it will still get power. I don't recommend using uninsulated copper cable because you will get shocked by it. So here we can see that we now have iron dust, and that was 1 piece of ore and it gave us 2 iron dust. Now we can smelt 1 iron dust and get 1 iron bar. So what the macerator does, it grinds your ores up into ×2, so you can get double what you would normally get. So I can now get 2 iron from 1 piece of ore, which is very good. Now let me just check how far we... So we're on 19 minutes, it's a pretty long episode. So now that we have our macerator and generator, I think I'm going to call it there. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time for the next episode.